Our first talk tonight, art talk, is called Moving Forward, Lessons Learned During the Pandemic.
And where are we? Where have we been over the last year? And what's the prognosis for the future? So real estate is booming. The home improvement market is booming. You know, designers' phones are ringing. Realtors' phones are ringing. So what does all of that mean for the art market going forward?
So I'd like to introduce Jeff Jaffe, owner of Pop International Gallery in New York City. Marilyn Ford, co-founder and broker of Marilyn Ford Group here in Palm Desert. And we're going to talk about the housing market and other sort of things like that. So kind of start the RAVE event off this time with kind of an outline of what's been going on in the world. So welcome, Jeff. Welcome, Marilyn.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hi.
So Jeff, let's start with you. It's been a challenging year. A lot of galleries in New York City have closed. A lot of restaurants are closed. You are still open and doing well. What changes have you made to keep Pop International going? Oh, Jeff, you're on mute.
So
there you go.
yeah, so I think the thing about what has happened to our world, and I mean it in a general sense, not just the art world, has been something none of us have ever seen before, and hopefully none of us will ever see again in our lifetimes. The irony of it all is that it forced us to sort of approach the world in a different way and look at the world in a different way. And in the end, look at art in a different way. And our gallery, the Pop Gallery, has been around for 25 years. We truly had to throw things out the window, essentially, and sort of really rebuild and restructure our modus operandi, if you will. It took a whole bunch of things to sort of force us, literally, into coming to terms with what we had to come to terms with. And the beauty of what we do, fortunately, is after all the years that the gallery, Pop International, has been in business, we have a lovely client base. We have a beautiful collector base. We have an incredible stable of artists that we represent. Many have been with us from the day we opened. And for me, that was the telling thing about getting through the pandemic and adapting to what we had to adapt. And obviously virtual events and emailing and telephone calls and reaching out to everybody on a broader level, but most importantly, on a personal level. It's pretty easy to text somebody. It's pretty easy to email somebody. It's even easier to pick up the phone and say hi to somebody. Besides the email blasts that went out or will go out. And we realized pretty quickly into this thing, yes, it's tough not having our physical space open. People have been coming in for years just loving it. And our events are always crowded and packed, and no more. Yes, hopefully things will change. But the kicker of it was to come to terms and realize that we had to shape things a little bit differently. And fortunately, technology was one of those things that was amazingly helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So of those avenues that you've kind of implemented over the last year, which ones do you think you'll continue using long after the pandemic?
So I think, ironically, we'll probably be using Zoom type events on a frequent basis. We tried our first one during the pandemic. We had a phenomenal amount of people join us, and we did some terrific business as a consequence. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people were sitting at home, looking at their walls, not being able to go out, not being able to do anything. And then we were in this environment with all of these people, which was actually more intimate in some ways than going to a big opening at a gallery where people are just, lining up to get a drink and it's loud and noisy and you can't really speak to people. It became a very intimate environment, and we will continue to use those media.
Marilyn, have you ever sold a house through FaceTime or Zoom?
Now we are a new reality, virtual showings. Agents show up and they just FaceTime, Zoom their clients, and they make their offer sight unseen. It's a bit scary, but it's working.
And the housing market is booming. I just read in USA Today that United States has a $4 million shortfall of homes, buyers versus sellers. So, where are they coming from, these buyers, and why are they buying so many homes?
Well, we had a silver lining in this pandemic, and who knew it would happen? But being where we located, you and I, in beautiful Palm Desert, California, Palm Springs area, we're really close to LA, San Diego, San Francisco. All the West Coast wanted to be here. They were fleeing the cities. The downtown areas of most cities have seen a vacancy, where the suburbs and something within driving distance, which we are, just saw a flurry of activity. And that's why the prices went up about 25% over last year. We were selling property nonstop in August, 120 degrees. They were still coming. So they want to be here, it makes them feel safe, and it gives them a whole new opportunity.
And the resale of homes is expected to jump 9% this year on top of a 3% gain. So what does that mean in terms of like home furnishings, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, everybody wants to start over. So that's a good thing. And I think the people that are buying these homes, the biggest sector of home sales in our area, these are second homes and mostly retirees, but the biggest sector was high end, high end. And that's what used to sit for a long time, and now it's gone. And I think these people are coming here for longer periods of time, investing more in their surroundings, their furnishings, if you will, their artwork, because they're going to spend more time here. It's not just going to be a lock and leave place anymore.
Yeah, it should be really good for the art market in the future. The art market has always followed the home market, by 6 months to 18 months. And I think we'll see an uptick in the art market over the next, year. So Jeff, the same thing's going on in the Hamptons, right?
No question about it. It's not even about the Hamptons per se. Yes, it's Long Island, but it's Connecticut, and it's Pennsylvania, and it's New Jersey. The tri-state area, people clearly have vacated Manhattan in droves. We were chatting the other day about where I live in Manhattan, in this beautiful complex. There are 900 vacant apartments right now. It's just astonishing to me. And many of these people have either moved out of the city, bought places in the tri-state area out of the city, or they've moved to their country houses or their second homes or whatever it is. And we're starting to see it already in some ways, an uptick in interest to fill the walls of these houses that we're talking about, that people are moving back into. It's remarkable.
So do you go around the gallery with, like on FaceTime, and they pick out some pieces and then you do a home show or something?
Yep, that's one of the things we do. We also have people send us photographs of their homes, and we Photoshop and do renderings of what a piece of art would look like on a wall. That has been one of the best things. Fortunately, I'm a Photoshop nerd, and we've been able to we sold a piece this afternoon, actually. Somebody sent us a photograph of the wall, and they were thinking about it. And all we need are the dimensions, and we can calculate roughly where something's going to fit, and we can put it on the wall, and they go, oh my gosh, it looks perfect there. Okay, we'll take it. It's astonishing. So yes, walking around with an iPhone or whatever and showing people art on the wall, doing renderings, and actually having FaceTime sort of get-togethers has been astonishingly successful.
Quite a bit different than the late 80s when we started, and what we had was a little metal box with index cards in that you wrote all your customers. Yeah,
notes and everything. And then you'd send Polaroids out in the mail.
yeah, yeah. Or brochures, we printed brochures, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's quite a bit different. Jeff and I have known each other for over 30 years, and both of us worked for Martin Lawrence Galleries for many years and got our education, I would say, from Marty Blinder and Barry Levine and some fantastic artists, during that time. That was,
Astonishing. I think we're privileged in some ways to have gone through that experience.
I think so too. Yeah. We had 40 galleries at one point.
Yeah.
It was a big undertaking. Yeah. So Marilyn, any other insights you have from the real estate market you want to share?
I think it's gonna keep going all year.
You do.
Yeah, until the kids go back to school and back to their sports next fall, perhaps. And we get back to a little more normalcy. But you see it on El Paseo here in Palm Desert. There's a lot of art galleries on that street, and they're busy. And there's people shopping, and they're carrying bags, making purchases. It's been good. I think the economy's good for those people that are buying the homes. They have the discretionary income.
Right. I think so too. And I was completely shocked at what happened during the pandemic, where I really thought everybody was going to hibernate and just be a turtle and pull their head in and say, let's wait it out, right? And it's completely the opposite. Though I think it's those people, yeah, you were right, Marilyn, that, want to be outside more, especially here in the Coachella Valley, right? And they can come down and have their family join them and have a pool in the backyard and just, have their enjoyment that way.
And the hotels were closed, so they had to stay in homes.
Right.
And
That
it'll be interesting come summer, especially in the desert when the weather gets hot. But also I feel like in New York, I hear of all these people saying like, this is going to be the summer of the year and everyone in New York is going to come out. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
If I may, our gallery is right next door to a hotel from a very well-known hotel chain. And we've become very friendly. We have art installed in the hotel. We do all kinds of things together. And they are, at this point in time, between 80 and 95% occupied. There were some rough times for them where it was, in the real early part of the pandemic, but they are 80 to 95% occupied. And people are coming into the gallery, although we have contracted hours and we have to abide by CDC guidelines and whatnot. It's astonishing how many people are actually in the city visiting at this time. And now that the weather's changing.
Yeah. This is the time we usually do Art Expo New York.
Mhm.
And, every year I hire a florist to decorate our registration, because your first impression of somebody coming in the show is you only get one first impression, right? So I have this lady and she's been doing it for over 10 years for us. And she's always like, Eric, it's springtime. Let's do cherry blossoms and all this. And I was just thinking about her going, we're not doing the show in April this year, that we're doing this instead, right? But I was thinking about her and you're right. It's a great time to be in New York. So
yeah, the springtime is an amazing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, you guys. Any parting thoughts, or I think we kind of
I
handled
think
it.
this is a great idea.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Great platform.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for
You're
coming,
welcome.
Marilyn.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Eric, Hannah.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye. Thank you.